Ramble.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. Good morning, Hank. Today we're eating cereal.
Good morning, Zach. We did. Try every single piece of Frosted Mini Wheats in the Frosted Mini Wheats container.
Frosted Mini Wheats, I always want to be more of a sugar blast, and that's not really their thing.
You're not getting sugar from
They're
that?
so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I want sweeter. I want Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Well, I love that you rolled up in here and you
You're a little
said,
boy.
I'm having a bowl of Frosted Mini Wheats, and it made me inspired.
I was very hungry.
Yeah.
And then Zach was like, "There's berries," and I was like, "No. I wanted food, not like little packets of juice."
You housed a banana and said the peel is staying on the counter.
Oh no! Catherine's gonna watch this, and I'm gonna be in so much trouble. I'm immediately in trouble with my wife on a podcast.
Is this a common
Oh my
occurrence?
God. It's not really banana peels. I'm pretty good at banana peels. I'm like really overstimulated right now. I'm making great decisions. But I like a half empty LaCroix is the scourge of our marriage.
Yes.
Oh, but honestly, though, all you need is that first crisp sip.
I know, it's so good.
And then after, it's kind of spoiled.
Yeah, and then Catherine's like, "I really like these." She holds it up to me. "I really like these." And I'm like, "I really like the first half."
Have you seen the meme going around right now? Like, would you peel my orange?
What?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
It's the sign of romance. If you're willing to do a menial task for someone,
sure.
and I'm willing to throw out your banana peel, but then call you out on it on a podcast.
Yeah.
I will absolutely. I saw people not peeling their significant other's oranges, and it made me so mad.
Yeah, that's weird. Why wouldn't you peel it?
Yeah. Wow.
So I had to wipe milk
Beard
from my
boys.
beard.
And
That's
I'm
the
gonna go
problem
ahead
with
and
the
say
beard.
you did not get it.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
one single thread of mini
Do
wheat.
you want to get it for me? No.
It's gone, but I'll pretend it isn't.
There you go.
Oh,
Perfect.
cute.
The problem with having a beard is literally every time I have cereal, I have milk in my beard, and then it's spoiling, and I'm sort of
I
smelling
left a
it.
banana peel on. The
It could have been someone else.
It was definitely me. I remember now.
Wait,
I didn't know
no,
where the
it's-
trash was, and I was like, Frosted Mini Wheats.
Because I also had a banana. You're sure you
No,
left
it was me.
All right. Good. Good.
It was me.
What is me? I feel like I would have gotten flack from them.
I'm not entirely sure. Is there an agenda for the day, or do we want to talk about the giant oat milk
I think
container?
we should start with the oat milk, and we do have an agenda. And I have a
Okay.
million questions for you.
So I poured a little bit of milk.
He just walked in with the whole oat milk.
Yeah, I brought the whole oat milk. First of all, what's the point of owning a company if you don't get to take the whole oat milk?
It's not that much left, actually, now that I'm looking.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
empty. Here's
Yeah.
the thing is that I poured some milk and I said, this is a bowl of cereal on the podcast for the podcast.
Yeah.
And if I pour all the milk now, it's going to get soggy. And guess what? The little bit of milk I have in here,
Yeah.
I'm dealing with some soggy
I
cereal.
got some soggy situation.
So I want to pour as I go.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a device for this that I saw marketed to me on Instagram where it's essentially sort of a single-use plastic. No, maybe it's reusable, but the idea is that you put milk and cereal into a container, and then it's sort of you move it like that, and they both fall into line in one crisp.
I don't want them to be like just met.
Exactly.
I want
it
to
to be a little
dated
bit
for a little while. What I don't want is
Sentinel.
a century of marriage
Centennial.
with my Frosted Mini Wheats.
I like my cereal to be an octogenarian. So wait. This device is a bowl. With
It's
like a chamber. It's like, almost like a colander on the bottom, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And you drink from the bowl.
You sort of like as you lift it, they touch and go into your mouth, and I think it sort of goes into a spoon shape. You're nodding your head. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a cup, actually. It's more of a cup, and there's an option to either just drink the milk or there's a compartment on top that holds the cereal, and then you can kind of have both in your mouth at once. People have said that the cereal comes back a little too quick and it could choke them, but I have almost bought one.
Yeah.
I
they
do not like. Look.
Look.
We've gone too far as a species.
Yeah.
This is too. It's too much. We need to roll it back. AI is too much.
Yep.
Cereal cups too much. We have enough. Let's focus on distribution. Let's focus on new medicines. We don't need new cereal cup. We need those clever cereal cup engineers. We need them on different things.
But Hank, my cereal is soggy.
I know, but it's been married for a long time and it's not getting divorced.
I will say I've been trying to add friction to my life, and that's why I have my cereal from the bowl.
I've been trying to add friction to my life is one way of saying it.
You say I'm trying to have more. like crazy sex. Or, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Hey, Hank, guess
We're
what?
having a good time.
That's awesome.
We're what, 5 minutes in, and Rainie has said the word yes.
I'm so nervous.
That's awesome, Rainie.
You kind of manifested this because
Yeah.
we've been really trying to think about what is your driving appeal, like because the world we all love you, Hank.
Yeah.
And I was trying to dissect why, and I think we figured it out. And it is, and I worry that once I tell you why we love you,
Will you
that
ruin it for me?
You're gonna ruin it, and you're just not even gonna know what to do with it.
Okay.
But it's
Well,
that
don't tell me.
the world is chaotic,
And
you make it feel like there's order by giving us a little chaos.
Oh, interesting.
Like you are a chaotic but comforting.
Yeah, I'm a chaotic provider of order.
Yes,
I love that.
yeah,
Good on a business
I
card.
would love for that to be me. I'm putting it in my bio right now.
it's pretty good.
Because I'm all over the place. I'm definitely like, I got cancer and then I was like, let's do stand up about it. Like that's not super chill and normal.
You
but
got
I do
cancer, and
really-
now it looks like you have a perm.
I do have a cancer perm.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's a
most
great idea.
expensive perm you could get. Yeah, it doesn't always happen, but it happens a lot.
It's
It's called chemo curls.
And is this just this is it for now, or is it gonna like?
it usually goes back after like a year.
Okay, well, hey man,
Yeah.
live it up.
Oh
should be
yeah,
great.
I'm not cutting the top once.
No, you can't.
No, I want to see. I'm really hoping for Jon Snow, Jeremy Allen White here, just
Okay.
get down. But I think it might just go straight up.
You're gonna be Marge Simpson.
Yeah,
sort of a full
yeah.
blue.
Yeah, Eraserhead vibes. It does feel like it's just very stiff.
So God, there's so much that I want to. I just
Before
love talking.
you
to
wanted to ask me how long the almond milk could stay out.
That's a
Oh,
great
this is
question.
good, yeah.
So we ask a lot of
should
questions.
we shuttle it back to the fridge? I think it's going to be fine. But you are talking to a guy who has been driving around the same pizza in his car for 4 days.
No, you
Would
have
you eat
not.
it? Would you eat it?
Well, it's been
I-
cold.
Would eat it.
No, you wouldn't.
It's been after it got warm. So what you need to know is that this isn't. You shouldn't do this. This isn't advice.
You're my little chaos monster.
This isn't advice. This is bad. This is wrong. But yeah, I mean, I had the pizza at my first show, and then I didn't finish it, and I put it in the car, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna bring it to the hotel room. It's gonna be colder in the car, so I just left it in the car.
I've thought about that, but you realize we're not in Montana anymore.
No, but it's chilly at night here right now, and then I did eat it the next day, and then the next night, I was like, I'm doing a lot this week, and this is not a risk I should be taking. Like that could cost me a lot of money.
You thought as you
eating
ate another
eating this slice of
Yeah.
of pizza that has not been
From what I understand, pizza, fried rice, the 1 and 2 fastest bacteria accumulating.
Well, if you leave
foods.
bacteria, supposedly, I mean, I'll ask you. If you leave
I have a
bacteria,
question. I have a question for
Obviously
Hank
don't.
Green.
yeah, but supposedly if you make rice and then leave it on the counter and an hour later, that's like the perfect place and temperature for bacteria to grow.
Yeah. I mean, there should be a very limited amount of time that food is not either quite hot or quite cold.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of this, I have a question for Hank Green. So here's the question. And this is actually a friend of mine, a girl I went to college with. She made a TikTok about this, and she posited a theory, and I'm curious about your take on it.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, we brush our teeth twice a day on a good day. Morning,
Yeah.
and then before we go to sleep.
Most days are good days.
Most days, well, it probably shouldn't be. Most days should probably be. And look, some mornings, what? I don't brush my teeth. What are you going to do? Kill me, Hank Green? But
This
basically,
explains so much about you, by the way.
Yeah.
okay, enough. So basically, she posited the idea that, all right, after you brush your teeth don't know what time it is.
Correct.
So,
Right.
I agree.
after you brush your teeth before you go to sleep, if you want to have a little snack,
Yeah.
that's fine. Because
What does that have to do with time?
Because in the day, you brush your teeth in the morning, and then you have a little snack, breakfast.
Yeah.
And then your teeth are like hanging out with that food
All
until
day.
nighttime,
Yeah.
all day long. So what's so wrong
What's
with
the diffy?
the food hanging out on your teeth overnight?
I always
I'm
assumed
excited
that
to
it
hear
was.
Zach's opinion on this. I'll just be very quiet until I can tell you why this is wrong.
I've always assumed is that your mouth closes while you're sleeping, and it just becomes a little petri dish. of hell.
That's interesting.
this is quite close to the reality, and
Okay.
also it stops producing as much saliva. So
Oh my gosh.
that's
I was not expecting that.
Oh my God.
I was not expecting that answer.
yeah. So like when you're awake, you're constantly producing saliva, even when you're not eating and you're swallowing stuff. Like
Is
that's
saliva
getting dissolved in that.
antibacterial?
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's like it can be probiotic. Actually, I think.
Kombucha style.
Yeah, where it's like it's like it's good for
Selling
the good
my
bacteria,
saliva
maybe.
on Etsy.
Yeah, yeah. That's why you can buy certain people's spit. They just have very good spit. Yeah.
So spit in my mouth could be sort of.
Yeah, no, it's a treatment.
By the way, if we want to start selling, I don't know, spit in my mouth, and it's like different YouTubers editions.
No.
Spit in my mouth, the Hank Green edition. That would be a blockbuster.
Flying off the shelves.
You think so?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we could bottle up Jacob Elordi's spit in my mouth?
Even if we just took the people who are commenting spit in my mouth on your TikToks, million people right there.
I don't know what. Anyway, it is definitely your mouth is worse at controlling bacteria when you're asleep.
How the fuck do you know all this stuff?
I don't know. I read it somewhere at some
But then
point,
it sticks.
and like it's well,
Because you've said that
job.
you don't know all this stuff, but then you look up all this stuff. You're really good at looking up stuff.
Well, often, so in that situation, if I was making a TikTok and I was going to make a TikTok about this, so like one, everything I just said, I'm pretty sure that there's something there, and so I'd be like, oh, I remember that thing that happened, and I like can search for it. But I wasn't able to do that just now, and it's kind of uncomfortable for me because I'm like, I think that this is a thing, and now I've said it out loud, and I want people to know that I'm not 100%.
we just shoot it off confidently, and we're often very wrong.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
no,
you-
I
yeah.
did 2 podcasts yesterday, and I looked at the camera and I said, as you're editing this, make sure that I've fact checked and sent you an email that says that the thing that I just said is true. But that was more, I was like about cancer, not about spit.
Nice.
Yeah, probably more, more
stakes.
important.
So you're right now. You're doing a bunch of stand-up shows about cancer.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Thank you.
I'm actually. I want to.
You haven't seen it, though.
I want to come see it.
It's
I'm
just
really
a funny
excited.
idea. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, come see it.
I think it's well founded. My college thesis was about trauma and comedy and the interplay of the two.
Gotcha, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think
people
it's
say that comedy is something, what is it?
best medicine
No.
And you'd say chemo
Tragedy
is the
plus
best.
time.
equals comedy.
Yeah, tragedy plus time is comedy, and I think it's just tragedy plus jokes.
Well, there's this thing. It's there's this mental process called re-externalization, where when you go through something, be it a trauma or just a hard time,
Yeah.
it is helpful to
Yeah.
turn it into a story. And the process of turning it into a story gives you just one layer of separation, where now you can look at it and mold
Yeah.
it and come to terms with it in a more direct way.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I haven't like fixed myself here. It's definitely introduced some new problems to my brain that I'm gonna be stuck with, I think.
Yeah. Well, now you're just looking at how do I turn this into comedy?
Well, I don't know. It's funny. Like, there's certain things that as I've done the show, like I'll bring things up, and I'm like, I can't make a joke out of chronic pain that I'm still
Oh, sure you
experiencing.
could.
Well, if I'm still experiencing it, like to talk about it, people don't think it's funny. So I have to because it's not like I can't talk about a pain that I'm currently experiencing and have it be funny.
Well,
and-
there's no plus time there, right?
yeah. There's no plus anything. Yeah, and I can't it's hard to make like medical anxiety funny. I have a couple of jokes that kind of does it, but like it's just like it's so present and real for me that I have a hard time joking about it.
Do you find that, like, with this type of thing, you went through this intense experience, as you're making your stand-up about it, have you found that there are jokes that make complete sense to you, are hilarious to you, that people are not ready to hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love, and I kept them all in.
Good. No, 100%.
So they're-
Yeah.
I didn't just like I didn't not change them. Like
Yeah.
I kept them in, and I changed some things about the setup and the tail off. So if people like, there's a couple of moments in the show that like truly aren't jokes. They're like in the form of jokes, and they're not, but they're not funny.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that is how language works. And like, and we're here to think about more than just jokes now, aren't we? Or yeah. There's a couple of things that, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm just doing stand-up comedy. I'm mostly like a science guy. So like like a large portion of the show is science. It's like jokes around learning about how cancer works, and how cancer treatment works.
Is this something you always wanted to do? And is it like
Oh gosh, I have a problem where I like whenever I see people doing things, and I'm like, they're so good at that. I love it, and I want to do it.
Well, you do everything.
I know. That's
You're
why.
perplexing.
That's how it happens.
I like if I could even attempt to fit it in my, YouTuber,
Yeah.
TikTok extraordinaire, science education host, merch company owner, sock designer,
Yeah.
Author.
author.
Oh yeah, New York Times best-selling novelist.
Don't you forget it.
Let's go.
Worldwide
creator.
convention
Oh yeah,
creator,
Alex Daly, yeah, did that.
founder,
Uh-huh.
stand-up comedian,
Uh-huh.
perm getter.
He's actually pretty good at yo-yo too.
I bet. You strike me as a yo-yo guy.
Yeah, big time.
Nothing has ever surprised me less.
No.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. My sister and I are super tight. We've always been really good friends. I know a lot of people who, their siblings, they fight, they always fought, not us. We've always gotten along really well. It's something that I'm really proud of. But sometimes we get into disagreements. Sometimes a relationship takes work. If you get into fights with your friends, you get into fights with your siblings. A common misconception about relationships is that they have to be easy to be right. Well, that's not always true. And sometimes the best ones happen when both people put the work in to make them great. Well, think about the relationships in your life, and what about your relationship with yourself? Therapy can be a place to work through the challenges you face in all of your relationships. Using BetterHelp makes therapy so easy. I have that space once a week to check in, see how I'm doing, and work through some of these ideas. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/tripod today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/tripod.
I mean, this is a serious question. How much do you sleep?
Oh
sleep
no,
more than average?
I used to sleep more than average. And since I have had a child, I have slept
Oh, father. Let's
probably
add it.
more than average for a dad.
Yeah.
I probably get 7 to 8 hours every night.
That is
Okay.
extraordinary. You waking up?
What?
We waking up with the babe?
Yeah. He's the alarm clock now. There's no. He's 7.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and so there's no like, we haven't set an alarm in
Yeah.
years.
That's perfect.
And I have a real question, and I don't even know what the question is, and I don't say this to put you on a pedestal, but you do all this, and so much of it is then for charity, like all, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like looking to like figure out what's the motivation. I think for
it's
a lot
fucking
of people, like the motivation can still be getting more money forever, but that didn't work for me and John.
Yeah, when did that happen? Because I actually am curious about that specific journey.
Like that moment?
Yeah, like
it was
just-
pretty specific for both of us.
Really?
For John, it was The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
He was like, well, I guess I could become like the guys that I hate.
Yeah.
Or like think about it in a different way. And like, obviously like we have very comfortable, awesome lives. And like the true luxury, like the only true luxury is not having to worry about money, which is so good.
Yeah.
And like everything beyond that is like trying to get you back to having to worry about money again. That's what like most luxuries are like. Well, you want to start worrying about money again? And you're like, no, I don't. I desperately don't.
Oh,
Please
interesting. Because
stay
then you're
away
gonna
from
if you buy a super expensive vacation,
yeah,
you're
you
worried
like
about money.
spend all, yeah.
Interesting. I've never thought about that. Yeah.
So you got to avoid.
And what was your, so his was
And mine
the
was
fault-
VidCon.
Sure, of course, when
we
you guys
sold
sold
VidCon.
it to Viacom.
Yeah.
So how, how, because I feel like I'm drowning all the time, and I do one of your 14 jobs. And I don't even know if I do it as well as you. So what's
I don't know. You do several jobs.
I do.
All
yeah.
YouTubers do lots of jobs.
Yes.
I don't know.
Honestly, that I really appreciate the raw answer there.
Yeah, I mean, like my strategy for getting things done is that I do whatever is either most interesting or most stressful. So like the thing that is either the thing, like this morning I sent an email that I was like, it's like a contract problem that we're having at Complexly, which is our company that makes educational video, and I was like, I had 1,000 emails, but I did the one that is scaring me the most. And like, that's my reaction to scary things, is to like be like, I need to do that so that it's not like eating my brain all day. Which a lot of people don't have that. And that's just like, that's not a thing that I developed. It's how I was born, as far as I can tell. And then the other thing that I like is, if there's nothing eating my brain at the moment, the thing that I do is the thing that's like, what's sparkly? Let's go toward that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a problem, because like, the best case scenario at this point in my life is that new sparkly thing fails. Because if it succeeds, then I'm still doing it.
Right, now you just added another log to the fire.
Usually a success isn't like, we did it and it ends. It's like, we did it. What if we could do it better? What if we could do it more? What if we could grow the thing? How do we? Yeah, and I'm like, and that's what we've done that a bunch. Me and John and the team at Complexly and the team at DFTBA.
My hunch from knowing you and knowing some of the people that you work with is that you, one, do a good job of picking good people.
Yeah,
you pick nice people, but you also make it purpose driven, right? So even just having these goals of why the hell are we doing this, I imagine it allows people to align around a cause. And now when you take yourself out, they still have the fire of pushing towards that light.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there's always
I just think
hard
you're
parts.
a good dude,
There's
man.
always hard parts. Like there's always hard parts, and it's like it's never perfect.
Sure.
And then sometimes when you try to be good, people start expecting perfect, and you're like, I don't know what, like, perfect is different in your head than in mine, and even in mine, we're never going to get there, So there's like, so some days I look at like somebody who's sort of professionally a dickhead, and I'm like, that sounds nice.
Yeah, to be
like,
a dickhead.
Because then they just like go and they be dickhead, and people are like, yeah,
Yeah, they're a dickhead. That's how they are.
But then I'm like a little bit of a dickhead. I'll like make a mistake, and people are like, I can't believe you did that. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Right.
I wish I could be better. Yeah.
I'm going to hard pivot. I'm curious. Can I ask you about mortality?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine your brush with cancer was your first brush with mortality in a real way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I had my car accident when I was a kid. And so it has this real intense impact on you, and I'm wondering, for you, has it given you permission to say like, okay, wow, I have one of these, let's go? Have you changed, or are you still in it? I'm not sure.
I mean, definitely, like, being really sick also did that. Where I was like, I'm like around, I'm doing stuff, I'm alive, I'm making jokes, I'm being a dad, but like I can't do all the things I was doing. So like I need help. And I need people to sort of step in and do the kinds of things I would do, and not ask me to be on the Zoom call, because if they ask, I'll do it. And,
I thought your video was really great too. It was like really, I imagine, meaningful to other people going through that process. It was basically the video where you said like, hey, I'm not going to do as much, and that's okay.
Yeah. And so having stepped back, and it was like, oh, like nothing died, like nothing fell apart. Like and like, so sort of like think, what are the things that I'm really like, I'm exceptionally good at? Where can I bring the most value? And where am I less necessary? And where are there people who are better than me at this? And so like that was like a practical thing. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to die someday and I've only got so many hours left and I should be doing everything, like I should do what I want to do, not what I feel like I have to do. It was more like, I can't do this right now. Other people, it turns out, can. And I wouldn't have tried. I wouldn't have tested yet to see if that was possible if I hadn't had that, like, just illness, which is different from having to confront mortality. Mm-hmm. The mortality thing, I don't think I'm better off for it, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know that it's. If I had the choice, I think I'd probably wait a little longer to confront my mortality.
There's the full quote for the episode.
He's like, I'm going to do it eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's certainly, you learn. There's a lot that you learn. And those are true things that I didn't know before. But I don't know. There's lots of true things I don't know. Yeah.
How was fatherhood while being really sick?
I mean, fine.
Yeah.
He was super good about it. Like he, part of it, like he understood the physical pain, like the completely. As like he was 6 then, and he's felt pain. He knows what pain is, and he's always been, even as a baby, he's like super hates to cause other people discomfort and physical pain, and so he was very careful with me physically, which was great. But I think it was a bummer for him.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Like, and he like did not like it, and
So scary.
I don't know that he got scared. I don't know that he understood. Like we didn't talk about, because we never had to.
Right.
By the time we, when we were sort of in the part where we didn't know how bad it was, and like it could have been like, not long of having a dad. Like during that part, we were so uncertain that it wasn't worth talking to him about it. And then by the time I was like diagnosed and staged, it was like, I only had like a 5% chance of being dead in 5 years, which is like not, and like with that chance, if I was on that path, there will be a lot of time between where I was in that moment and to like start to interface with it. So we didn't have to ever talk about death.
Yeah, I had a mom go through chemo, and like it wasn't scary because as a kid you just go like, well, it's okay, they're gonna go through this thing now.
Daddy's sick.
That's fine,
Yeah.
I get sick sometimes too, and this one's gonna suck. But
but then he started to ask more questions about it, where like I think that he's heard more about what cancer is, and they grow up so fast, not just like in the way of like time passes so quickly when you have a child, but like the difference between a 6.5-year-old and a 7-year-old is like kind of substantial.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Miles
so
has a few of them.
I have a 1-year-old, so he's sort of developing at a
very
crazy
fast.
rate.
It's crazy when they're little.
He just
super
started
little.
walking.
Yeah,
and it's unbelievable.
So strange.
Yeah,
the
very
talking
weird.
is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, he has like
Where
4 words down, but I
Yeah.
don't think he knows what they mean.
Yeah, the problem, like the wild thing is when they go from like 12 words to like 2,000
Yeah.
in 6 months.
Yeah, that's
and you're like, what's
unbelievable.
happening in there?
He's cooking.
We had the greatest Try Guys video that never happened. You pitched us on Twitter, Try Guys Try Chemo,
I did.
and we thought
And you
about.
tried to make it happen.
And I'm sort
You're
of
like in my texts.
well, yeah, because I was like, this is great. I was like, hey, we're in, bud.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly so grateful that it didn't happen, because you later texted me and you're like, do you have any idea how busy you were, you idiot? What, you didn't have time to come to Montana?
Yeah. I was like watching an episode of The Tripod, and I was like, what were you thinking?
You were
What
watching
were
it.
you watching?
I think it was a recent one where you guys were going over the last year and how much
sure.
shit
Yeah.
has gone down.
Yeah, but we were like fully ready. I mean, we were like, okay, so we're shooting this huge series and we have this other huge series, but maybe Rachel and I can fly to Montana for a week and we'll rent a house and we'll cook Hank a bunch of meals.
Yeah, and I was like, I do not want your food.
Yeah, you're like,
can't
I've
eat
seen you
anything.
cook.
No, I want like toast.
Yeah.
There's like you should make me like a lot of toast. I would like
good.
McDonald's. Like that's what I want. I want like chicken nuggets.
Did you do it?
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. They're basically like do whatever gets food into you.
You have the chemo craves?
Yeah, you get. It's not that different from pregnancy.
That's what I'm wondering.
Is what I like. I kept like talking to Catherine, and she's like, "Yeah, I had that."
Yeah.
It's like
I had
super
that
bad
too.
heartburn, weird digestion,
My feet swelled.
constipation. I don't think my feet swelled, but like you just feel fatigued. You have brain fog. It's a lot of similar
yeah.
stuff.
It's a mess.
Well, fuck yeah. I'm glad you're through it. It's one of the ones where like, it's one of the limitations of our format, the only one, where it's like, it's such a good title, Try Guys Try Chemo,
my
but I'm like,
God.
we can't fucking,
know.
what are we going to do? We can't do that.
Yeah.
But also, what's the video?
Yeah,
You're
what are
gonna
you
take
trying?
chemo?
They
Terrible
actually
idea.
can't. They wouldn't let you.
They
into
wouldn't
the
let
No,
chemo
it's illegal. It's
into
poison.
I would
no,
do
no,
black
no, no, no. I
market.
don't, of course, they wouldn't let you take
Really
chemo.
take
They
chemo.
wouldn't even let you into the chemo ward.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't let you into the infusion center.
Definitely.
There's a. They wouldn't even let my son in. I was like, can my son come in and see it? And they were like, no kids.
Wow.
Oh, I guess they just don't, because it's so vulnerable for the people that are in there. Or just
And I think,
because
yeah,
it's-
there's a lot of people who are super immunocompromised.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
That makes sense. Rainie, get us out of cancer.
All right, I've got a question for Hank.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'll stay here. I'm comfortable now.
Have sharks and alligators ever met?
Have sharks and alligators ever met?
I know.
Sure.
Of course they have.
See, you'd think, but
Wait, is this a trick question? Did you know
Well-
the answer?
Yeah. Jesus.
no, I thought about this extensively.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is something my sister texted me out of the blue one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alligators are rivers.
They're freshwater. Yeah, they're saltwater crocodiles.
Yeah.
But alligators. I bet alligators can go brackish though.
What is that word?
Brackish. It's like when the saltwater and the freshwater meet.
It's the combo.
Here's the thing. I know for a fact
Neapolitan.
in the town that I go to in Mexico, they like did construction. They displaced the alligators, and now the alligators were just like, especially during the summer when it was like when it was rainy and whatever, they would just be off the coast.
Like
Sharks
on the
can be
beach.
off the coast. Yeah.
Oh
So-
man,
Huh.
come on, let her do her thing.
Thank
Rainie, I
you.
want to hear the theory. What's Rainie's conspiracy theory?
My conspiracy theory is they haven't ever met and they
Like
don't know
sharks
one
don't know
another.
about alligators.
Yeah,
They'd
because
be like, what the
Alligators don't know
fuck is
about
that?
exactly,
It has feet.
Yeah.
exactly.
That
Is
is
it alligators
interesting.
or crocodiles? Because both of them, alligators or crocodiles, have been around a
Crocs.
preposterous
They're-
amount of time.
That's what
well,
is
they're
so
crocodiliforms.
Crocodiliforms.
Crocodiliforms
Alligators.
feels like a word you just made up, but I know it's not.
Alligators are crocodiliforms.
What does that mean?
There's like they have a common ancestor, so they're yeah.
Got it.
And sharks.
Huh.
They've been kicking it for a long time.
They've been kicking it for a long time.
You're
Sharks
telling
been
me-
around. That's the stat. Longer than trees.
Longer than trees.
Yeah.
What?
That's
Yeah.
so fucking
Sharks are
crazy.
older than Saturn's rings.
That is okay, Hank Green fact. Play the sound
That's
effect.
fucking good.
That is really good.
Isn't it true? Trees used to not decompose.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Well, nobody learned how yet.
So there was just a bunch of bullshit on the ground?
Yeah, that's where the coal came from.
What?
Okay,
Yeah, no, there was a period of time
I
when there was nothing, where there were no decomposers. Like fungi hadn't figured out how to break lignin down, which is the thing that trees are made out of.
Okay, we have to talk about Fungi.
I feel like, by the way, I'm in a video game doing like different texts, and if I say the right stuff, you're gonna tell me like how I exist and why I'm
Yeah,
here to
I
die,
might get
like when
there.
I die.
So
Yeah.
I referred the other day. I referred to gasoline as dinosaur goo. It's
Yeah.
fossil fuel.
Yeah.
And my sister, it blew her mind, and I made fun of her relentlessly. And then I realized I was wrong, and
Yeah,
it's
kinda.
not dinosaur goo. It's dinosaur time goo.
What?
Dinosaur times
It's just
goo.
stuff from before dinosaurs that
Yeah.
became goo.
Yeah.
Wait.
What do you mean dinosaur
fuels.
time goo?
He tries stuff. This isn't his strong suit. Try stuff. This is not.
This is not science.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
not.
It's fossil fuel.
it is fossil fuel.
And so I thought it was fossils.
It is kind of.
I thought it was dinosaurs.
Fossils.
It isn't.
It's not.
Not so much. It's not. There might be some dinosaur stuff
They
in there.
they
do
branded
so-
it wrong.
There's a great dinosaur that they found in a coal formation. I think it was in Canada somewhere. I was gonna say British Columbia. It probably is, but I don't know for sure. But it like I think it's an ankylosaur, and it's not the bones, man. It's the animal.
Like it's frozen.
Yeah, it's
What?
wild. You can see its face.
What?
No, I don't like that. That's way too scary.
Yeah.
It's like an ancient face.
Wait, that's sick as hell.
Is it like
It's
a mummy?
sick as hell. No,
wanna
it's
see
like it's like rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's so metal.
that is like one of those ideas. It's like when you think about like how big the universe is, it makes my stomach my belly button turn inside out.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're thinking about this stuff on the daily. You're like desensitizing yourself to big thoughts.
Yeah.
You ever think about?
Okay, we're on a planet hurtling through blank space.
Yeah.
There were dinosaurs here, like right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I used to live around the corner from the La Brea tar pits.
Yeah.
And they to this day are like excavating like mammoth bones
Wow.
and
You know
dire wolves.
my
and-
favorite La Brea tar pit fact?
hit me.
If you translate it from Spanish, it's the tar pits.
I do like
That's
that
like
a lot.
chai tea,
Yeah.
right? Non-bread.
Does chai mean
ATM
Yeah.
machine.
Chai
Yeah,
means
Chinese
tea.
tea.
But I was serious about the fungi thing
Uh-huh.
because here's something I just learned.
But
They're
I actually was serious.
Tell me about fungi.
well, they are not animals
Correct.
and they're not plants.
Correct.
So what
So what
are
the
they?
fuck's going
And that's
on,
part one
man?
of my question.
They're fungi. They're hanging out in their own thing.
They're just like I guess why are
So
they not
here's-
plants?
So plants happened, and then plants are what's called autotrophs, where
Sure they are.
they make their own food.
We just heckle Hank.
So
during
they're like,
science.
feed me, and the sun does it. And they make their own food, and you can also make your own food from so that's photosynthesis. There's also chemosynthesis, where if you are around the right kinds of chemicals, like at deep sea vents,
Oh,
you
right.
can make
algae.
various.
Various different types.
and like bacteria a lot of the time are chemosynths. And the so these autotrophs happen, and then they branch off, and then there's this here, which is the common ancestor of fungi and people and animals, and then those branch off into funguses and people.
Huh.
And I've said fungi, and funguses because I like them all.
Yeah, I did notice that. And
They're
I
all
was feeling
my
like I said it
Yeah.
wrong.
I feel the same way about octopi, octopus, and octopodes. It's just like
Octopodes.
Oh yeah, do it all. Do it however you want to do it.
Yeah.
And fungi are like us. They are heterotrophs, where they get energy from eating stuff.
Well,
See,
we're not-
that's helpful. I get it
Yeah.
now. I got it.
But
Roger.
the lines aren't always fuzzy unless you're just looking purely at evolutionary taxonomy, because there are like some kind of autotroph animals that like have like chlorophyll in them, but they like take the chlorophyll from other organisms and put it inside of them. Wild.
I think that was Rainie's problem. She was looking at it purely from evolutionary taxonomy.
Yeah. Well, no, but if you are looking at it purely from evolutionary taxonomy, then like you can actually see where the common ancestors are, or you can try and
If I
suss
could
out
go
where the
back,
common
you called
ancestors
us all
are.
heterotrophs, and I'd appreciate if you didn't make assumptions about us.
Good T-shirt, honestly.
My next question, though, is about evolution. Because
all people are heterotrophs. And you're like,
You're like, okay, easy.
Erasure.
so I heard some tea about a fungus who figured out
I like
evolved.
that it's who.
Fungus whom.
Evolved to like go into a body, an animal, make them crazy, make
Yeah.
them go up a tree.
Oh,
and
sure.
like,
They go up real high, and then the fungus explodes through their brain, I believe, and then
Get sunlight, etc.
pours down
Yeah.
on the forest.
and so my
Well,
question is,
and the thing I think that it has to
zombie
do
ant.
with like the like then it's like available to get eaten by a bird or something, and then the fungus like part of the fungus's life cycle is getting spread around by whoever then eats this animal, this
Right.
bug that has
Rainie
been
saw The Last of Us.
infected.
Yeah, Rainie.
well,
Yeah.
well, I'm just like, okay, this is brilliant, but how on earth would you evolve to that?
I mean, how else do you evolve to anything? It's wild. You
Yeah.
like, have you ever like met your knee? Like, nothing makes sense. It's wild that it works, right? It's just
That's
like
yeah.
whatever.
Have you ever met
your knee. It's probably like, okay, this fungus exists, and then it's like, well, some of these funguses are poisonous, and then it's like, okay, that works for like a couple bajillion years. And then it's like, so, oh wait, one of these is like poisonous, but it also kind of makes them feel a little woozy after, and then they kind of
like,
move around.
oh, yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, that worked.
I mean,
So
it's
then-
basically anything that like if a trait helps you make more of yourself, there will be more of that trait, and that's how all life happened. Isn't that?
Yeah.
It's freaking
I
wild.
demand a
crazy.
DFTBA sub shop with just quotes from this episode printed on mugs and T-shirts because we're spitting fire today.
Yeah.
Do you know? I'm trying so hard to sit here and think. Do I know something that Hank Green does
Yeah,
not?
sure you do.
And I want to find it.
Yeah.
Do you know about the belly of fox experiment?
Yeah.
Fuck.
belly of the. Okay, well,
Which one is it? What was the first word?
Believ.
Yeah. Where they took the foxes and they started trying to make them be nice, and then their ears got droopy and they got cute.
It's my favorite.
It's wild.
It's my favorite example of evolution because we understand natural selection, right? Something in nature changes and makes something go through an evolutionary process. Human selection is something too, right? We made wolves dogs.
Yeah.
And so there was an experiment where a Russian fur company was like, hey, we're trying to kill all these foxes, but they're just too
like,
darn
mean.
aggressive. So this scientist came in and he just tested for one trait, which was receptiveness to humans. Every day, he would go up to the fox with a gloved hand, put his hand to the cage. If the fox was aggressive, not allowed to procreate.
Yeah.
But if the fox had any receptiveness to humans, you're allowed to do the dirty.
Yeah.
So they did that for like 7 generations.
They were adding more friction to their lives.
They were adding way more friction to their life.
They did this for 7 generations, I think, 7 to 9, which is only like 20 years in fox time. And what you see, one trait has a myriad of other effects. So, as Hank said, their ears got droopy, starburst patterns, their tails, they start panting. They're fucking dogs.
Yeah,
now
they
you
got
can't
more doggy.
So interesting.
You can't keep these as pets because foxes require so much exercise. Do not try and keep a fox as a pet. I know some people in the country do. They're just not meant to be pets. But what it shows is the process of domestication.
Yeah.
If you domesticate an animal, no matter the animal, they all go through the same evolutionary tree, like pigs and cows and sheep and dogs and cats. And how one trait has a ton of other subtraits.
Right.
So
and
now
also
imagine that in nature. If all of a sudden you need to reach higher to get a flower, there's going to be a whole cascade evolution.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's wild because we tend to think of like a one-to-one relationship between like a gene and a thing, but like we used to think that, you know, when we first figured out, it was like, oh my gosh, there's all this information encoded in our cells, and then that codes for proteins, and we're made of proteins, so that must be how it works. But it turns out there's like so much it's a very subtle dance of chemicals affecting chemicals and things turning themselves on and off and hormones and all this stuff that like, you know, like maybe in that, I actually would love to know more about it, but like maybe in that case, what you're actually selecting for is an increase or decrease in a certain hormone, and that has effects throughout the whole physiology.
Yeah.
Miles, tell Hank Green something he doesn't know.
Okay, Hank, get a load of this, idiot.
Miles.
No, I don't have a fun fact right off the dome like this because I feel like Hank's so smart. Actually, here's one.
There we go. There we go.
Do you know about the big bowls of water batteries?
Big bowls of water batteries. Are they current batteries? Like they exist right now?
They are.
Or in the past?
They're a prototype. We're on the path to develop them.
Yeah.
It's actually a friend of mine's father is involved in them, but it's about global warming, etc. So yeah, native bitch. I'm a VC backed. I'm like an investor. I'm like Hank. No, but I don't remember what it's called, so you can't even find it.
I feel like it's like flow. There's like the word flow is in it.
Yes, correct. But basically,
he knows it.
You do know it. Shit. But basically, the idea is that it's you can generate power through wind, solar, etc. pretty easily, but it's really expensive to store, and you have to keep sort of making new batteries. Batteries, they heat up, so they explode, they disintegrate.
Well, they're
whatever.
expensive too. So you want to make a way that's like so with like a car battery, you want to optimize for a few different things. You want to optimize for like density, like the space, the physical space that it takes up. You want to optimize for the weight because you're going to drag that thing around with you everywhere you drive, and so that's going to be a totally different. So like saying like for the grid we should have lithium ion batteries, that's crazy.
Work.
You shouldn't do that because like that we don't need to optimize for space. You could take a lot of space and it's still not very much space when it comes to power generation.
Yeah.
And you don't care about how much it weighs anymore. You care about how much it costs. You care about like making it cheap and you care about making it cheap.
You care about making it cheap, baby. So basically what this is the idea that when you have excess power that's flowing from the grid, not going into people's homes, etc., you're having that power flow to in the middle of the ocean, giant concrete bowls.
Oh, I don't know about this.
Okay, let's
in the middle of the ocean.
Go. So the idea
this is in my wheelhouse too. So.
Go out to the ocean, and it could be oceans, it could be lakes, but I say the ocean because it's like there's not really people around to see these things.
Sure.
Giant concrete bowls, and the idea is that when you have excess power, the power is used to power pumps to pump water up into
reverse hydro
into these giant bowls because it's like this power's not going anywhere. And then you use that water when you need power for the grid. You uncork the fucking bottle.
And it just like goes through a turbine.
It goes through a turbine and it generates power and it sends it back.
I'm into it. You know what?
You know,
I'll invest $10 million.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear.
Sharks.
Right. Sharks.
Yeah. Kind of a cool idea. It also is an idea that makes sense to like my big dumb brain because it's like, well, water go fast. Water obviously go fast to make power.
Yeah. I've picked up a gallon of milk.
Yeah. Big bowl of water. Okay, that's actually awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the battery works. So.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I've been thinking a lot about longevity on YouTube. Right, and just on the internet, and we've seen a lot of our friends this year. Like it's all the craze. They're calling. Tom Scott said sayonara. Matt, Pat, and Steph said we outie.
Yeah.
And you're someone. I think I'm sort of someone. We've found a version of longevity on the internet, and you're always experimenting anew. You're trying new things, but you're also not chasing. So I'm curious, how do you think about that balance?
What am I not chasing?
Well, I don't think that you haven't changed the style of your thumbnails or the cadence of your uploads on YouTube, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think we definitely think about it differently. than most creators. So like for us, like the main channel, Vlogbrothers, which is like by far not our most subscribed or viewed channel, but like the one that is the core of it all, is we just want to be very, like we want everybody there to be on the same page. And like, what are we trying to do? What's interesting? What's interesting to us is the content that we're making, or what this group of people is doing together is what we're doing, is what we're talking about. And like, that's not for everybody. And I think that that's great. And I think that like absolutely, and we see that like new people are coming in and people are going out, and like, it's not all the same people every year for 18 years or whatever it's been. But there's a lot of people who've been around for over 10 years, which is wild. And there's a lot of people who've been, and you know, that's probably a bigger number than the number of people who've joined this year. Who've like started watching regularly this year. Joined is weird. There's not like a form you have to fill out.
I did fill out a form. Was that not official?
There are forms sometimes. You may have filled out a form.
That was a phishing email.
It doesn't actually.
You said, "Hi, it's Hank Green. I need your help. Please wire me $1,000."
Thank you so much for that, by the way. Yeah, it's really. I mean, I don't know why, but I need your money specifically.
Yeah, you said, as my dearest friend, I need you to bail me out of this bind.
Yeah.
But I think that's uncommon. Like you're being like,
but then what you do is, instead of trying to build that one thing, like it's the foundation from which you try other things. And so obviously, like Crash Course and SciShow are not about me and John, but like they wouldn't have been possible without the foundation of our YouTube, of Vlogbrothers and Nerdfighteria.
Yeah.
And that's also probably true of VidCon, and it's certainly true of DFTBA and of like our charity line of products where we sell socks and coffee and soap and stuff.
Good socks.
Yeah, thanthis.
I'm not wearing them. You looked.
I am.
He looked at my socks.
I did.
And
I
then
was
looked
like,
back
oh
up and
man,
said,
I should have
nope.
brought some for every. This learning moment. I gotta travel around with socks. Be like, all right, everybody, shoes off. This is what I'm into.
Okay, Hank Green wants to see our feet, I think. But no, I think that's so cool, and I guess I'm curious also. Like, I think you represent a optimistic, science-forward part of the internet, and what are creators doing that is exciting to you? Because also, like, again, with like every crazy crypto fascist thing that content creators are leaning towards, what is exciting to you about the internet and about the way that people are making stuff that feels good? I like
how the phrase crypto fascist now could mean two different things.
Yes. And by the way, I meant it.
You meant both of them.
Yes.
Yeah. What's exciting to me right now, TikTok has allowed, and has allowed discovery of new creators, which I think is really important. Mm-hmm. Like I remember when there was like an era where it was like a certain group of people making educational YouTube videos, and then like I looked up one day and I was like, it's just been us for years. Mm-hmm. And this was like back in the 20-teens. And like what happened? Like we all started making videos around the same time. And then years went by and it's just still us. Like it's still like CGP Grey and Vihart and Vlogbrothers and Veritasium and Smarter Every Day. And I'm like, where's the new people? And then suddenly there was a moment where like a bunch of new people came in, and it was like Real Engineering and Windover Productions and like that's like some of the stuff that started, Nebula getting bigger. And then there was like a period of time when video essays started to get really big. And I was like, what's happening here? And the reality is it's when there like some space opens in the canopy, when some sunlight can reach ground. Like something is changing about the algorithm or about how internet works or about like the one of the big things that happened honestly was Storyblocks. So Storyblocks is like a stock footage website that like is really cheap. and you can go free plug and you can go to Storyblocks and like brought to you by instead Storyblocks. Of it just makes it a lot easier. It like that opened up the ability to make a video much more simply that looked really good.
Right.
And so if you had a great script, you could get to a video a lot faster once Storyblocks was available. And that's kind of like a whole like explosion of new creators happened because the way that we were making videos wasn't reliant on that or thinking about that. And then we had to learn from the new creators and like get better that way. And like TikTok has has opened up the canopy again. Now I think it's probably getting a little messy because the real opening up was a couple of years ago. But a lot of those people have made a great transition over to YouTube. They make and that transition from short form to long form is really hard, and not everybody turns out to be good at it, but some people super are. And I am very happy that it continues to happen. I want very much to support it. One of the things that we did when we realized that the canopy was so tight is that we started to take half of the revenue from the Vlogbrothers channel and grant it out to educational, like younger education channels.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and that started, I don't know, like 10 years ago we started doing that. And some of those channels are really big now.
Can you name them, or are they private?
No, they're public. I mean, one of them is Kurt's Cassette.
No kidding.
One of the first ones we did.
Oh, wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a cool way to like spread it forward.
Yeah.
That's why Zach's going to give me $10 million.
Yeah, another one is like the Financial Diet's pretty big channel now. It's like it was not that much. Like the wild thing is that it's like I don't think we've ever done a grant that's bigger than $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but $5,000 if you're that size is huge.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like,
and also,
yeah.
I think what you're saying about like the stock footage and stuff, I think about that all the time now that, with TikTok and just with resources, like, if you subscribe to Storyblocks for whatever it is, I don't know, to $15 a month or whatever, you can have music and footage and
Well, using my promo code, you actually
and using
get your...
ZachKornfeld.com as the promo code. But also just like I saw some really cool, there's a really cool like kind of like indie film YouTuber movement that like people are making these like
I love it.
very, very like artistic and kind of like they're not glossy, they feel very filmic, and even just those effects packs, those lighting, things, they're all available online, either free or on these sort of big standard licenses. And I think that's so cool.
I also think with the iPhone camera, like
Completely.
the iPhone
Yeah, it's
camera is
so
a
good.
great camera.
Yeah.
Audio can be really good on iPhones too, which is wild if you use it
It's
right.
excellent.
Yeah, it's really surprising. I mean, I'm super interested in the idea of like the internet being almost like an ecosystem or a forest with
A
like the
little jungle.
canopy, opening up. Like that to me is just like
Nice
so
metaphor.
exciting. Yeah, and so cute.
Thanks.
By the way, if it is a jungle, then eventually there will be a spore that enters the head
That's
of
right.
YouTubers.
It goes to the
Yeah,
top.
crawl.
Look, you can look at everything makes more sense through the framework of if something allows you to make more of it, there will be more of it.
Yeah.
That's not just a biology idea.
That's so interesting.
I often think to myself, like I watch a video on YouTube and I'm like, well, if something can get views, it will get created.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's right.
it doesn't really matter whether it's terrible or
if
destructive.
it's AI or if it's just
Yeah.
like
Which is
lies.
why I'm trying to up my WikiFeet score.
I don't know how those things are related to each other, but I'll go vote.
I'll vote on Zach's feet.
I have the lowest of the Try Guys, and I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it hurts.
Okay, well, switching gears for the last like 10 minutes.
Wait, can I ask another
Oh yeah,
question?
go ahead. Sorry,
I just
Zach.
have a question.
What's that?
I mean, this is just purely selfish, right? Because I just like talking to Hank.
So you didn't have a question, you just want to chat more?
No, I
So
do.
what's up?
This is true for any creative person that tries to, monetize and scale. Like, creativity is not directly businessable, but we live in a capitalist society. You have to turn your creativity into a business.
You don't have to.
You don't have to, but if you make it your job,
If you want to pay rent off of it, yeah.
So you start making stuff because you have a spark, an inspiration, something in your tummy that you go, I want to pine for this. And then oftentimes you get success, and then it becomes, okay, well, now I get to do this as a career, and now success starts leading. And whether you mean to intentionally or not, you change the motivation, the initiation point of your creativity, because you are responding to stimulus of the internet. You're responding to, okay, well, when I do this kind of joke, they like it, or when I mention my cat, they like it. And now you're creating from the outside in instead of the inside out. And I may be wrong here, but you strike me as someone who never really succumbed to that.
Wow, you're so wrong.
You do really?
I have always created from the outside in.
Tell
the whole
me.
time. So like that's why it might not look like that. But I make things for people, not for myself. Like I want to do things. Like there are things that there's ways that I wouldn't make content that I know would be successful because like I don't think that it would be having the right the impact that I want to have. So there's that. But like as far as I want to make like my goal, I'm making like a science video, for example. Like my goal isn't to tell the story or to convey the information in the way that I feel is sort of like most artistically pure.
To reach as many people as possible.
It is to get people to watch.
Yeah.
And to get the information into people's heads as efficiently as possible. And like have them have a good time along the way, because that's helping them do that.
So your goal is the information, and then you get to look at what is the most effective.
And that's like the creativity to me. And I think that all artists have are weighing those things differently. And I think that it's really obviously wrong to sort of say that people do one or the other. But I think that I'm way over on the spectrum of like over on the side of I want to make stuff for people. I have an ability, I have skill sets, I have things I can and can't do. Like I'll read a book and be like, I couldn't do that. I went to improvise Shakespeare last night. I couldn't do that. Like that's not on the table. Like there's that's not in there, and I literally could not build that skill if I wanted to.
Well, I'm curious
but I do have skills, and I want to apply those skills the best that I can in the formats and the genres and the mediums that I'm working in.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself in your career having a facet of your work, whether it's the day-to-day or just your mode of creation, where you go like, I'm doing this because I have to, or have you found a way to weed out those things that you don't like doing? Oh, for sure.
I mean, all the time, but those aren't mostly the creative parts.
Yeah, it's the business.
Yeah, and that's the trickier thing, because that can really take over. And figuring out how to have that part not take over. Because it's like, you've probably been in a contract negotiation that was really annoying or something like that. Maybe an HR problem.
Maybe.
What?
That was, and it's just like, you can't be creative in those moments, right? But also just like management is a kind of work. I think it can be creative work. And I think that like I operate better when I'm trying to imagine it as creative work, and to some extent that starts to be more about me than about the actual work. Where I'm like, how do I make this into something I don't hate? And then people are like, why are you being so weird about everything? And I'm like, because if we do it normal, I'm going to be so bored, so bored. I'm going to be so bored forever.
That is really cool to think about management as creative work, or just like other logistical things that you don't want to be doing, like gamifying it in that way. So it's like, okay, how can I solve this problem in an interesting new way?
Yeah, which can actually introduce more problems than you're solving, it turns out.
What if we all ride segways around the office? Way more fast.
Yeah, it's not a very big office, but like, we'll get to the other side real fast. It'll be fine, I promise. There's a lot of equipment in here.
Yeah.
And that, that's been a struggle. That's the harder part, is to keep creative while also trying to keep, to sort of fulfill what I see as like really serious obligations to the audience, to the people who help fund us, to our partners, to our employees. And like it's also just a huge amount of pressure. Like it's so much stress. Like I've never.
I was gonna ask if you ever worry about, because I'm always like, whenever I edit these, I'm like, did I say something wrong? Am I gonna get canceled? Or just like, is this irresponsible to put out? Like stuff like that. Do you deal with, especially you're dealing with like facts, like more as opposed to like just chit chat? Like how do you mitigate that? Like, well, what if this is totally wrong and I actually missed something?
I try to get to the point where I feel like I'm pretty dang sure that I got it right.
Right.
Especially like with the TikTok, it's a one-person process, so that's like both good and bad. It's faster, and I have a pretty good set of systems at this point for getting stuff right. I'm not perfect. Yeah. I take videos down. I apologize for them.
There's a great Radio Lab about fire that you stoked. That is about
which I don't mind so much having stoked that fire.
Totally, it was fascinating. But I just liked the idea of it. Like, you made this video just being like, how about this idea? And then it sort of spawns other people.
But I also knew that it was gonna. Like, I knew more than it sounded like I knew, but I didn't know as much as it ended up being. But anyway, you should listen to that Radio Lab. It's great. the and then when we're doing like crash course, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Where we have a whole system of like subject matter experts and fact checkers, and there's like checks and balances, and we have like it gets to the point where it's not like, okay, we got a fact wrong. It's like, okay, people don't like, we're gonna have to fight about the nuance of how we present this fact, because like how certain are we in this debate about like Tyrannosaurus feathers would be it. Like this isn't actually, but like here's an example. Like we don't know whether Tyrannosaurus had feathers,
But
and
how
there
fun would
are
that
lots
be?
of people who are certain that they did, and lots of people who are certain that they didn't, and it's a big fight. And I love that they're having a fight, but then we get drawn at, like if on Eons we have to make a Tyrannosaur episode, it's like now we're in the fight.
Right.
And so we have to like figure out how to talk about the fight, and people don't like it, even when you're saying that they might or might not, because they're like super on team feathers, you know?
Yeah.
Your opinion.
Yeah.
What side of the fence you on?
Oh, I don't have to. This is great. I'll let you guys know on a little secret that everybody on the internet should learn. You don't have to have an opinion on everything.
I love that.
Period.
Really
Yeah.
like that.
Like actually,
Yeah,
big.
you could be like, I don't know, that seems like something for the experts to figure out.
I think that's a fantastic take. 1,000,000%. Do not have to have an opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm on team. Tyrannosaurs are cool. Cool. That's another shirt for you.
Wait, when you're buying a toy,
Team
when you're buying a toy
Tyrannosaurs.
for your 7-year-old, is it gonna be covered in
All right. In the last few minutes, I have to do, since you're here, a few more questions for Hank Green.
Yeah, please.
Okay. How many owls do you have to see before you get worried?
Before I get worried, it is a good one. I think if they're together. So if it's like together owls, I'm like 3 owls. That seems like I don't know how owls work. They might hang out like sometimes.
Yeah.
I would.
But if it's
that'd be cute.
yeah, but if it's like an owl and then later an owl and then later another owl, and they're like in separate parts of my day, I'm like,
Yeah, that's
so
what
like
I want.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, like low.
3. That's
Yeah.
really low.
But they have to be like in separate places at separate times in the same day.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's surprisingly low. I'd say for me, probably 6.
Owls
How
at
many
once?
owls do you see?
Every once in a while. Very few.
Yeah.
If like in the single day you saw 6 of different owls, you'd be like, okay, what the fuck's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At-
I would
at
be
6.
thrilled.
Oh yeah, I would be thrilled, but I would also be like, "What's up?"
Are they following? Like, what's going on?
There's a chart for me where I would be so
bell curve.
fucking excited,
Yeah.
and then it would plummet to existential.
There is a
terror.
person out there though that the line just keeps going up, and I want to be that person, and I'm not.
the more owls you see, the more. Let's fucking go!
70 in one day. That's a record. Are you kidding me?
There's also the person that sees one and goes, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah.
Okay.
What
What is up?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'm the extra in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds going, this is the best day of my life.
Okay, when I hit accept all cookies, what am I doing?
I love this.
Yeah, you're a fucking little cookie monster.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I had someone who works in advertising scold me and say, you gotta accept those cookies. And I'm like,
What?
well, they're
Of course they wanted you to.
And they said, they're giving me the choice. Why would I accept them? And they say, do you get ads on the internet? And I say, of course I do. And they say, do you want shitty ads? And I say, no, I don't.
And they're like, well, you gotta accept the cookies. So
Gotta
you get
accept the
those,
cookies.
You gotta get those good ads for that thing you already bought.
And then they also said, don't you have an ad-based business accepting on YouTube? And I went, oh, I guess I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a cookie is a little file that is stored on your computer, and then it's like displayed to the wherever you go.
So it's just
so
like
Branding of the
where you are.
century.
can just track you all
Yeah.
over the
If I
place.
can just say,
Yeah,
Cookie.
branding a cookie.
I'll take a cookie.
I want a cookie.
yeah.
Daddy wants a cookie.
Daddy wants it.
I think I was around and like making stuff on the internet when cookies started to be a thing.
And you probably said yum.
And I had a blog, and I was like, yeah, that's a good name because like you leave crumbs as you move across the internet to get tracked by.
Interesting.
Okay.
And if you give a mouse a cookie,
He'll eat
Then
for
he'll
a
be your
right.
friend for your whole life.
Teach a mouse to cookie. He'll eat for a lifetime.
and the footprints in the sand where I was carrying you.
I shed a tear.
Okay, so when they say before the Big Bang there was nothing, what is nothing? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, yeah.
They don't say that there was nothing.
Oh.
There was just Steve hanging out.
They say they don't. They say they don't know.
Oh, okay. Somebody told me nothing, and I was like, "What is that?"
It's like we don't know.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to say.
I want you to think about it as like there was no smell, and then the universe farted. So something had to do it.
We have a science educator on the show today.
Yeah.
And I just don't want you to embarrass me.
What do you have to say about that, Hank?
I wish I could fart.
You mean
can't
right
fart?
now or at all?
Hank can't fart. Put it in the headlines.
No, I've been really gassy the whole time I've been in LA. And
Yeah,
I
you
just
chugged
like,
milk before you came in here.
Big bowl of cereal and a coffee. No, I had a coffee.
And you ate 4-day-old pizza.
Yeah,
Of
I
course
think that
you've
might have been
farting.
part of the problem. I think the pizza wasn't helping.
Yeah.
What was the question before the Big Bang? So
Yeah.
like there was. So the thing is, so from our understanding, and look, it's weird. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. But from our understanding, it's not that there was nothing before the Big Bang. It's that there was no before the Big Bang. So like time started at the same time.
What?
Space and time are the same thing.
Yeah.
Rainie, space and time are the same thing.
Space time.
Did you see
But I call it
Interstellar?
that.
It basically freaking clinches it,
Yeah.
nails it. Oh, that's what it was.
Time is a
Whoa.
wibbly wobbly ball. Think about it.
I just don't know. I think that's really hard for me to grasp.
Yeah. No. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
That's what it's like for everybody.
Okay, good.
There's not like
shit!
There's not
You're
like
not alone.
There's not like astrophysicists out there being like, yeah, it makes perfect sense that time started.
Yeah.
But
What
like,
is time, do you think?
oh, somebody knows.
Somebody knows.
Ask an expert.
You don't have to have an opinion
I'll
about
hand that one
everything.
off.
That's
I'll
right.
hand that one off to somebody who knows what time is. I've read several books about time, and as I'm reading them, I'm like, oh, interesting. And then I stop reading them, and I'm like, no idea what that
Yeah.
said.
That's how I feel about time.
That's
where I'm
gone
like,
now.
as soon as I think about it, I get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really upsetting because of how it's not what we think it is. Like it
Right.
doesn't work the way that it seems to work.
Right.
Like time is
yeah.
not time is not
Measured.
the same for us as it is in other places in the universe. Like it works different. And like
Did you see Interstellar?
I did, but
It's like
it was
Interstellar.
so hard for me to understand. And then, but my friend, who is a PhD student at University of Chicago, explained it to me in a sentence, and it made a lot of sense.
The gravity part is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's real.
Can I tell you something that just blew my mind? I don't know why I've never thought of this. Hank Green, you should play Doctor Who.
Oh no.
Yes.
I don't know how to act.
Yes, you do.
I think
could
you could
as
act.
long as I could just be me.
Say,
Oh my god, the snort
Think
after
about-
that. Was
think about
exciting.
you doing little time hijinks. Hashtag Hank Green for Doctor Who.
I'm also American.
So what?
It'll be the first American
Hold
doctor.
on,
People
what-
will
what-
love
The
it.
doctor can be anyone or anything.
No, but he's got to be British. But maybe I can be British.
Try it.
Let's try it.
I'm the doctor,
Perfect.
right?
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be the
Maybe
part.
I should do a British accent for the rest of the show.
I
Well, the whole
feel
rest-
like you
this,
in a little
This is
blue
just this
booth.
entire episode of the Try Guys is just shit that's going to make my wife so mad.
The
Ooh,
accent.
Matt
Yeah,
was really
she
nice.
hates the British accent.
I
Really?
want you to play Doctor Who. I think it'd be good.
I don't think that's how it works, man.
Well, if enough of us say it.
At the very least, a cosplay.
Also, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, you're used to the work.
I like to do it on my schedule.
Okay, fine. Make your own Doctor Who.
I'll just be like, hey, how much is Doctor Who?
How much?
how much could it possibly
how
be?
much could
I'll
Doctor
buy
Who
Doctor
possibly
Who.
be?
DFTBA is going to buy Doctor Who instead of giving back to charity.
It's one Doctor Who. How much could it cost?
Well, Newman's Own donated a Doctor Who to charity. Yeah.
Well, we've
Well-
come to the final segment.
We have.
I don't know if you've ever made it to the end of an episode of The Tripod, but
Are you
about
aware
to
of what
blow-
happens at the end?
I feel like it's going to be familiar when it happens.
Hank,
Well-
you strike me as a man who knows a lot, but you certainly don't know it all. And people who don't know it all, they need advice. And this is advice that'll go for miles with your host, Miles Bonsignore.
It's advice that'll go for miles. Tune it to your radio station. It's advice that'll go for miles. Everyone get ready, Miles Nation. Miles Nation, go. 4 miles.
What's up, Miles Nation? How's everybody doing tonight?
Woo!
Who doesn't love getting tied up?
I still want to fart. What?
Have you ever...
Clipping that, by the way.
Clipping that. Have you ever wanted to make sure that you're actually all into feet?
What's happening?
Have you ever wanted the way that you traverse the world to be tight?
Yes.
Relace your shoes. is what
I
he's gonna
love getting
say.
tied up, whether it be to a bedpost, Zach, or up in a meeting. But the number one way that I get to like tied up is if I'm laced up. Get new shoelaces, bitch.
Oh yeah, this is actually really good.
I actually had old
Okay.
ass shoes.
Uh-huh.
They're not these ones because these are actually new ass
They're
shoes.
crisp.
Uh-huh.
But I had sort of a white pair of shoes, and I have a history of wearing my shoes till they break until
Sure,
Zach's
sure.
make fun of them, and then I buy new ones.
This is also my wife. Plays that role in my life. Catherine is so happy when the shoelaces break. She's like,
Yeah.
excellent news for me because that has been bothering me.
No, it was crazy. I shouldn't have been wearing them for as long as they were, and they were filthy. And I was in
Yeah.
New York City, and I thought, my feet are kind of hurting.
Rainie, do you notice shoes on people?
Oh my gosh, have I told you about this? My friend once was like, if you want to know if someone's hot, look at their shoes.
I kid you not.
Devastating for me.
If Maggie's attracted to me on a given day, depends on what shoes I'm wearing.
By the way, I peeped these as soon as you walked in, and I thought, I want those.
Yeah,
Nice.
these are good. These are
These are
Thank
awesome
you.
shoes.
This is very weird for me. Be wearing shoes that someone would say that about.
I think they look awesome.
Yeah.
And
Well,
honestly,
Well, no, yeah. I'm usually wearing like the
Yeah.
daddest dad hiking shoes.
you turn on
Good
your,
support.
you put on the nice ones for today.
So you're able to give shoes new life.
So I give my shoes a new life, basically, because the laces were nasty, and they also were too long, so I got shorter laces, and they were just like pure white because the shoes are white,
Yeah.
and it was like, whoa. I didn't even
pop.
clean the shoes, and it made the whole shoe
yeah,
pop.
it's
Yeah.
like the cheapest way to get new shoes. Buy shoelaces.
That's 100% right, Rainie,
yes.
and we're on the same wavelength. But
Have you-
anyway, they're cheap. They were like $6 or something.
Do you guys ever think about how absolutely bonkers it is that like everybody wears different shoes?
That's a really good point.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
How many shoes are there? I went to the Grove yesterday and there was a lot of different places that sold shoes and they all had different shoes.
I love that idea.
That's a good take. We all should be wearing the same
It's
shoes.
wild.
My favorite is when you're like you're in New York on the subway and you see someone with your shoes and you go like, hey,
Eh.
hey, and you kind of wiggle your feet and they look
Yeah.
down and they're like, oh, all right, and then you do like, hey, you got the yeah.
I feel like
that must never happen.
I've never
we have
had
so
that
many shoes.
yeah.
now.
I got cool
So
shoes.
are
When you're
those
wearing
even,
the shoes
she's
like
not even
this.
wearing shoes. I don't know what those are.
I know these are
Slides.
slides.
Okay.
But
Those
I
are-
got them at Nordstrom's Rack. Like, all very different, not only different shoes, different energies from each shoe.
I like Nordstrom's rack.
What's very funny is
Seems derogatory. Look at Nordstrom's rack.
You can't say that about Nordstrom. Jesus,
know,
it's
come on,
2024.
you're like we do branded videos sometimes. You're not
Uh-huh.
supposed to wear logos or whatever. Shoes, Wild West.
Nobody cares.
Fair game.
Yeah.
You can have a Nike swoosh. You can have your Adidas. People are just like, well, they're shoes.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I can't
Yeah.
tell them to not wear the shoes.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my advice for this week. Get new laces.
Get new laces.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're going to be fresh.
Fresh.
You can
and
also
clean.
wash
Fresh.
shoes.
Not all of them.
That's not
But some of
recommended.
them.
Not those slides.
You can get a
Yeah.
little toothbrush.
I do feel like, by the way, you're thinking about shoes. If someone's wearing the same, if someone's driving the same car as me, I do feel like they have to be nice to me.
Oh, that's so fun. I'm like a little bit you copied me, a little bit we're twins.
But I do feel like I need to sort of. It's like it's an acquaintance. I like when I'm driving next to someone. I pull up at a stoplight and they are in the same car as me. I feel like I
Yeah.
need to be like,
Hey, look at us.
Yeah,
look at us. Who would have thought? You and me together at the same stoplight. Holy crap!
this is crazy.
Wow. Somebody drives by, they'll see both of us.
That's so
They're right
funny.
next to each other.
Twinning.
All right. Well, any last thoughts before we do our outro, which is one word?
Guess my fart.
Yes, you're far.
Are you about to? Are you about to?
I love this game.
Honestly, for you, Hank, I think it would be like this.
I think it's just silent.
Unfortunately, I still don't have a fart to
All
share.
right, copy that. Have a good ass week, everybody.